So as an admission, sometimes when I'm teaching, I'm really remembering. So this opportunity to be with you and to be in a facilitating mode is a good part of remembrance for me. And I remember again and again, every day, these little things like, oh yeah, remember that. Like, that we're entering into a field. We're entering into a shared space, which does not need proximity whatsoever. It is a very real space. And the kind of space I hope that we enter into is one that, as we enter it, we remember who we really are. We just get a little taste, a remembrance of, oh yeah, I'm a vibrant, spirited being. And so us gathering is not an inert, disconnected gathering at all. So let's connect to our breath. This is a powerful way to create the field, access the field. And if your inner skeptic is turned on and kind of your scientific materialism is unsure of how to really prove that, know that your intention, your curiosity and your intention contribute to this state that we enter together. So that inner skeptic, maybe you can meet them with curiosity. How does one start to sense and feel a collective joined through intentionality, through a strong desire to do good, to see truth, to feel truth, to know truth? And so I'll ask you for your practice this evening, our practice this evening. Would you be open to exploring what's deeply true? What's deeply knowable? If what's mysterious can be a part of our reality. And I don't want you to just engage these questions with your mind, but work the questions in your body. So feel how your body responds to that prompt. Breathe it, feel it. How does the body respond? Is there a softening? Is there a response? Is there motion? Is there a life movement? Let that question penetrate, as if riding that breath into the abdomen, into the back muscles, into the pelvis. Like letting that question enter in every cell. Letting it penetrate the material of our body. That way the eyes can soften. The tensions that come along with our critical mind. Whether that's the critical, skepticism or critical judgment, but letting those tensions soften. Maybe this is a beautiful body. Maybe this is an exquisite, spirited reality that we can enjoy for a few moments. Our breath work today will work with our hands. So, very simple. Wrist stretches, bring the right palm in front of your navel, outstretched. And lightly draw back the littlest finger, connecting to breath. Letting the ribs expand into those arm bones that are relaxed down. Switching to the next digit. And the next. Awareness meeting awareness. Consciousness meeting consciousness. There's a recognition. And how sweet we get to notice, we get to witness everyone here are becoming conscious together. That's a pretty cool group. Let's keep those deep breaths flowing as we move into the next hand. If you're speedy, just you do another hand again. Sometimes I realize that it's in these moments, these sacred gatherings, these moments where we can exchange our breathing and kind of ceremonial sanctity that we sometimes poke into a momentary heightened experience. It may not stay all the time, but that we can have these crucible moments together to possibly kind of poke into these experiences, these heightened, hopefully delightful experiences of being spirited. It doesn't have to stay forever, but as we visit, as we keep visiting, that gradually becomes not just what we remember, but what we are. So, let's straighten the right leg out. We'll fold the left leg in. And we're setting up for a forward fold to begin. So I like to kind of square my hips up with the direction the sole of my right foot is facing. So inhale, draw the arms up. Exhaling, fold forward. You can bring those hands beside your right leg. I like to draw the hands back so I can feel my shoulders having moved down and away from the neck. Those trapezius can be a bit lengthened. And with the back of the neck relaxing, inhale into the back of the heart, the sides of the ribs, the low back tissues, sacrum. Inhale, walk the hands back toward your pelvis, uprighting our trunk. And we'll simply switch sides. The left leg is out. And the right heel can be tucked in. Inhale, draw the arms up. So lifting the upper back bones away from the mid-back bones. Exhale, hinge, fold forward. Once more, inhaling, reaching in and into the low back with your breath. So we're getting that breath, bearing that breath in and down, reaching. And inhale, bring the hands, walk the hands back toward pelvis. We'll upright ourselves. Let's lie on back. We always need guts. So we'll bring feet off ground, interlace hands behind head. Inhale. As you're spreading breath into the low back and the top rim of the sacrum, float the head and the shoulder blades up off the ground, just a little bit. And then there's a little extra abdominal move that may shift the tailbone up. Exhale, reach the left leg out, spreading to the ball mounts of the left foot, and now draw low belly down. Inhale, bend left knee. Keeping the shoulders elevated. And you may feel that little shift where the tailbone almost rocks away from the ground. Exhale, reach out through the right leg. Now, occasionally there might be a couple of us from time to time. If we involve that tailbone move, let's pull the low belly down. Inhale, bend the right knee. That it might interfere with some other kinds of therapies or help you're getting around the hips, in which case you need to just subscribe to your therapeutic mode. Sometimes some of these moves are not the most therapeutic. Shift the tailbone, exhale, reach the left leg out. If they're just challenging, right, if activating those really low belly just feels challenging, I'd recommend stay with it, pull the low belly down, because each time we attempt to go there, right, we start to grow those synapses, we start to grow those networks through the body. Inhaling back centrally, curl tailbone, exhale, reach right leg out, draw the low belly down. We have an exquisitely networked and interconnected body. It's really hard to leave bits of us behind. Inhale, bend that right knee. Let's continue. Let's do 2 more per side. How do we do these abdominals? With an intent to include and feel as many areas of this gorgeous and complex, exquisite abdomen area. And when you're entirely through with those couple on each side, please do set the head down and the feet down. Just take a momentary rest while breathing into the back and the belly, the space of that abdominal region. Let's use the roll today. We'll place it between the legs, and we'll reach the legs straight up. You can substitute a block if that's all you have. And with both legs skyward, hands interlaced, supporting at the back of the head. There we go. Inhale into the abdomen, into the low back. Feel where the breath goes. Every time we feel, helping make those connections, squeeze the roll. So you can feel the breath from the abdomen connecting to the squeeze of the inner legs. Curl tailbone, exhale, head and shoulder blades off the ground. And reaching up through the inner feet. So you might even send those inner ankles mat up a little bit, reaching through the arches. Draw the low belly down. There you go. Let's inhale the head down. Now pause as you squeeze the roll. You have this unbelievable moment, squeezing that roll, curling the tailbone, exhaling the head and the shoulder blades off the ground to feel our cells awareness. The body is aware, the body is alive. And we can notice that, we can feel that. Pull low belly down, even in that move. Inhaling, let's set the head down, the tailbone down. There's a slight let up of that squeeze, of that pressure. And as you fill up with that breath, holding it just momentarily, squeeze the roll. Squeeze, squeeze. Curl tailbone. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. And yes, yes, yes. Pull low belly down. Inhale, set the head down. I'll talk through one more. Squeeze the roll, curling the tailbone, spreading through the ball mounts of feet. Exhale the head and the shoulder blades up off the ground. Squeezy, squeeze. Reach up through those legs, pull low belly down. All right, I'm going to challenge us a little bit. Inhale the head to the ground, and you decide if you'll do 3 or if you'll do 4 more. Okay? So when you're ready, you've made your decision. Excellent. Begin. We'll just do 3 or 4 more. You know, I've noticed that so often there can be a kind of resistance around seeing ourselves more fully and more deeply. If you encounter that, let's take a kindness to that, right? Often seeing, feeling, and knowing ourselves more deeply is predicated on letting something go. It can feel like, it can feel like a sinking shame. It can feel like a miniature death. It can feel like, oh no. But what if something extraordinary was just on that other side? We'll set that roll off to the side. And we're going to take a bridge. So set your feet up for bridge. And Jimmy, we can work that variety we chatted about. Placing the feet in parallel, soles of feet on the ground. Inhale, lifting the chest away from the pubic bones. Feel that growing spaciousness through your core and through your trunk. And then exhale, we're going to bridge our hips, our buttock right off the ground. The tailbone lifts, the buttock lifts. Now, if you have a fairly good connection to the backs of your thighs and your buttock muscles, the way they engage, you may feel the pelvis shifting in that tailbone toward skyway. If you can feel that, you can really press the fronts of those hips toward the sky. What that back of leg helps us to do is reduce any smush in the low back. Okay. Now consider for a moment Maybe feeling our legs and our abdomen. There's a bit more awareness, feeling sensitivity there. What can I know deeply, deeply, deeply know? In and through the pelvis and the legs. This is a truth question. It's not a problem solve. And so if we're orienting, if we're shaping our awareness around what's problematic and what's bothersome, what's irritable, what pains us, what is causing us suffering, I'll offer this as an option. How do we shape, how do we view with the awareness, with the feeling sensitivity for who am I really? How can I experience this? Through my pelvis. How do I experience deeply who I am in my legs, in my guts, and my heart? And feel how the body responds to that question, that wanting to know. It's a beautiful form of dialogue with our own body. It's so wonderful we can have a beautiful dialogue with our body. We're going to begin our descent. So let's keep the feet active. And we'll bring that upper spine down to the ground and the mid-spine. And the low back and the buttock. If you tend to feel sensitive with things like bridge, you might want to just pause and take a moment to hug the knees into the chest. Sometimes that really lights up the backs of the legs. And then, let's turn onto a side that we may press onto elbows and knees for dolphin. So with our elbows set under the shoulders and the forearms out in front, create a nice press. You feel how the front of the body engaging spreads or almost stretches or spreads the back side of the ribs and shoulder blade. You feel the back of the neck relax. Moving with your breath, curl the toes under. When it's time to exhale, the knees come up. What's even more good? What's even more true here? Sometimes getting an answer might take a back seat to just holding these these inquiries in our person, with our breath, with our cells. It's letting the question marinate, letting the inquiry reconfigure us. Sometimes our inclination is to want to get an answer from a question. But what if we just breathed that question into this pose? And so I'll ask you, you're in this dolphin. Let's just presume we'll be here for 5 more breaths. Where you're sensing most acutely the workings of the pose. Maybe it's the back for some of you, it's the quads or the shoulders. Can you feel and breathe into those areas? And inquire what's more deeply true. As we start to become more receptive to what's good and what's true and what's beautiful and mysterious, how's that feel in your body? And then to exit, we'll set our knees down. The arms are going to get around too this evening. So have planned a little section of wall. There's 2 moves we'll do. We'll work vertical splits at the wall and dolphin at the wall. So take a moment, spot your section of wall. With vertical splits, which we'll do first, I sometimes like to bring some blocks around beside my foot. And we'll begin with the right foot down and the left foot up on the wall. Now when I place my left foot on the wall, I'm very specific. It's the toe pads, right? The soft little round poofy parts of my foot on the wall. I don't want to feel like I'm mushing my bones, my foot bones onto the wall. So once you're set up, you've got the right foot down on the ground, the left foot up the wall. Permit the head and the neck to relax. And if you feel a little resistance as you approach, enter into any of these poses, your edges, your practice. If you have it in you to notice that, like, ooh, I'm getting a little edgy or surly, or starting to get my judginess. Let's be really kind. Sometimes knowing ourselves more deeply can come at a seemingly great trade-off. And so we want to approach those moments with dexterity and elegance. Okay, let's place the left foot down. If your head gets a little bit warm and kind of full with blood flow, you might want to just stand up for a moment. But we are switching sides. So that means when you're ready, it's left foot down. And the right foot will place up the wall. Give yourself enough room from the wall so you can have the toe pads and the ball mounts against the wall. And it's in this practice, this frequent ritual practice, let's set the right foot down. And now let's set up for dolphin on the wall. I'm sure I'll complete that thought soon. All right, so now I'm going to go up into this dolphin at the wall together. When I place my elbows and knees down, my feet are just a toe touch away from the baseboard, so about 4, 5, 6 inches. The elbows are directly under the shoulders. And if you have any bit of compromise in the shoulders, what you do is clasp your hands. And if you just did something really great for yourself, like you just took care of a shoulder injury, I'm going to celebrate that with you. Okay? It's really a cool sign of care. We do these little things, like, inhaling into the back of the heart. The toes are curled under. And when we exhale, we press the knees up. Take a moment. Let's settle into this dolphin. Feel the heels are near the baseboard. And feel our neck relax. Now inhale. Take one foot to the wall, hip height. Exhale, press the other foot up, hip height. Now we're in dolphin at the wall. Now reaching one foot, I'm starting with my right foot, reaching it deeply away from my left foot. So my legs split apart. Okay, there you go. Now I keep reaching out. That's it, Michelle, that's it. Through both sit bones. Relaxing the neck every now and again. And now we'll bring that right foot back to the wall. Now, if you can stay in this dolphin, let's stay as we exchange, bringing the left foot away from the wall. Softening through that neck. Just letting each breath with that inquiry, what's really deeply true here? What's good here? And we'll bring foot to wall, step one foot down, step the other foot all the way down. And then setting the knees down is a nice little pit stop. And then let's set up our mat so we can stand and work some other things. Nice stuff. All right, suns with a little spice. Inhale, reach the arms overhead, spreading the hand bones. Exhaling, fold forward. Neck relaxes. Now we're stepping into arrow lunge. Inhale your left foot back. Place the knee down. Place the top of the left foot down. Exhale, press. So now you're pressing the knee right back up off the ground. I'm leaving my hands on the ground for this moment. Sure, you can, prop them up on your thigh or reach them overhead. But I get a sense that there might be a couple of us that like or need a little more back modification. So I just want to do this with you, keeping the back really neutral here. Now press down through that front foot. Sometimes we miss that. Press down through that right foot. So to complete that thought, that's one of the cool things we get to do in a practice is reorganize and try on new habits of consciousness, new habits of what do we notice and how we notice them. So check this out. We're only here a couple more breaths in this arrow lunge. Do you organize around what feels problematic, painful, achy, irritating? Or are you organizing around kind of ascertaining what's more deeply true and vibrant and beautiful in here? And then gently set the knee down. Easy twisting lunge. So I'm going to back my hips up a little bit so I'm moving out of that lunge. Keep the left hand down. Draw the right arm up. I might go so far as to say that how we organize our noticing and our feeling affects our body. We may feel how that plays out downstream in our material body, our matter, our structure. So I want to keep pointing us to when you kind of remember that inquiry. What is fascinating and what's mysterious and true? What's beautiful in this bodily experience? Note how your body responds to that inquiry. It can be almost immediate. Inhale, bring the right hand down. Exhaling, step right foot back. And let's lower all the way down to the ground, belly to earth. And we're going to take 2 breaths here. Breath 1. Belly is down. Just breathe into the abdomen and feel how that grows. That breath grows and lifts the back tissues and the bones and the Good. Breath 2 is cobra. Place the hands in front of your shoulders. Reach back through the inner legs, the big toes. Inhale. I'm pulling the chest forward as I palm press my chest up a little bit. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. All right, got a couple poses on the other side, starting with arrow lunge. Inhale, left foot forward, set the right knee down to place the top of right foot down. Exhaling, press the right knee up. Sometimes it can be really challenging to hear those inner voices, the barrage of thoughts, the criticism, the judgment. So I'm just going to keep bringing it up because that might be the bleeding edge of our evolving, is starting to sense, oh, I'm swimming in those thoughts all day. And when I change it for a moment, I start to feel differently. And when I change that thought and I feel differently, I start to behave differently. I walk a little taller. I feel a little more confidence. And when I feel confident, I have different thoughts. So we start to tease this ball of yarn apart, this thought, feeling, lunge, thought, lunge is a good place to find some thoughts and feelings. And then we'll inhale the right knee down to the ground. Easy twisting lunge. Draw the hips back, so out of that lunge somewhat. The right hand down and the left arm skyward. So we get to try on wonder. What does mystery feel like in the body? What does undistracted feeling awareness feel like? Inhale, bring the left hand down to the ground. Exhaling, chaturanga, step left foot back. And as we lower, move the shoulders away from the neck. We lower all the way down. Cobra, hands in front of shoulders. Breathing abdomen into the ground. Pulling mid-spine away from the big toes. Pressing slightly, chest up. Exhaling, lower down, downward dog. Interlock, warrior. Inhale, right foot forward. Right arm from the inside of my right leg, reaches under, while my left hand reaches behind back. And there I can connect hands, using a strap if I need to, or just however you connect your hands. Can you connect them on the right side of your right hip, the outside of your right hip? You know, it takes a lot of energy to refuse data, to refuse knowing our body more deeply, knowing our person, knowing what's deeply true and good and beautiful. It takes a lot of energy to refuse that information. Now, releasing the hands. I'm going to straighten that right leg, moving into pyramid. So here's the gig. I'm going to walk my left foot forward by several inches. Bend that knee adequately so you can square up your hips. So you're not facing to your left. They can face more like straight ahead, downward. And you can always walk your hands up your leg to straighten your right leg. And just fold right in there. Bend that right knee, inhaling. I'm going to step the left foot forward. Now, I'm going to help ourselves to standing. If you're a little back sensitive, just crouch. Use your hands on your legs, press. Kind of squatting up and out of there. And when you're standing, we'll work standing splits. So grab right foot with both hands. Grab left hand on the inside. Right hand on the outside. This is the right foot that you're holding. And start by lifting the chest. And begin your press, pressing through the ball mounts of your right foot. Most of us generally push out the heel. So by pressing, emphasizing the ball mounts of the foot, it'll just tend to help us press through the whole foot. And if you're a little back sensitive, you can always keep it conservative and just keep the right knee bent. That's perfectly fine. Now, we might be dancing a little bit. We may have dropped the foot. Give it a few moments. If that inner critic has a really strong and ingrained habit in your body, let's be so kind. This is a practice where we get to try on new habits of consciousness. What if we tried on inquiring, what's really good here? What's true here? What's more deeply true than a critic? What's more deeply true than some inner judgment? I bet there's a lot. And I bet it feels kind of good. And I bet the body kind of softens and warms up to that possibility. All right. Now, by kind of releasing, bending the right knee, we'll set it down. Ooh. On your next exhale, let's fold forward. Hands to ground. We're going to step both feet back. Inhale, step both feet back, moving into a plank. Chaturanga. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Hands slightly forward. And I should mention, if you're a little more back sensitive today, you move your hands way forward, like a foot in front of your shoulders. This will reduce the amount of arc in your back. You might like it better. Inhale, cobra. Reach back through those inner legs. Already done a bunch of stuff for those legs so we can feel them as alive. Get some blood moving through there. Exhaling, lower down, downward dog. We've got an interlock warrior. Inhale your left foot forward. Exhaling, the left arm encircles the left thigh. And the right hand reaches behind the back. Here I'll connect. And just that little shift, shifting into that inquiry. That is our intention today. What is that inquiry? It's even more deeply true in this experience of being a spirited human with a body. What's beautiful here? What's mysterious? What's good? I mean that capital G. Pyramid. Release the hands. You can set them down. Now, and kind of step gently that right foot forward, just several inches, squaring the hips and then straightening that left leg. The hands can walk up the leg for a more moderate feel. The hands can be down on block or ground. You are so incredibly loved. Each breath just wrap up every cell in a big, enveloping, loving breath. You are seen, you are loved, and it takes a lot of zest to escape that. When you try that on, what's your bodily response? How does your body respond to that? Does it feel more deeply true, good? Let's bend that left knee. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Now, knowing we are standing, you might want to just load up the butt by bringing the hips down and then squatting your way up. Standing splits. Stand on right foot as we grab left foot. So when I grab that left foot, I'll show you here. That might be the pose for me today. The standing splits is I might start to press or extend that left leg forward. And if you're having a really flexible day in your life, you may start to draw the thigh closer to your trunk and face. And to release, let that go, bend the left knee. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhale, step both feet back, chaturanga. lowering all the way down. Inhale into your abdomen, cobra. Reach back through the big toes. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. All right, pigeon. Inhale, right knee between hands. To deepen into the pigeon, you can walk that left foot, rather the left leg, just walk it back. You know, it's not uncommon that sometimes when we start to move these really deep structures of the body, and so these really deep structures of our mind, it's not uncommon to get little whiffs of memory, if you will. Like a little memory packet just kind of opens up. It's in those moments, those little effervescing little memory moments are extraordinarily great times to recount your intention, to feel your breath, and to ask what's really true, what's deeply true. As we start to kind of reconsolidate those events, those little memories, those little, the strata, the structure, it gets wrapped up with a slightly new twist. That's good news. Inhale, walk the hands under the chest. Exhaling, downward dog. I see that time expands and contracts wildly. So let's do this other side of pigeon, and I'll owe you a Shavasana. Inhale the left knee between your hands. And so that we can kind of enter into this pigeon, we'll just walk that right foot back. Inhale, let's walk those hands back. Since our left hip is so close to the ground, let's just sit it down. We can draw that right leg around. And now let's lie back for Shavasana. I definitely owe you one of those. Feel free to add some layers. And I totally understand if you just want to sign out now so that you can take extended rest. That's perfectly fine. So, as you're finding your rest position, just as a together remembering, we get to try on different habits of consciousness. We get to organize around what's possible, what's good, what's vibrant, what's true, what's mysterious. And we do so with our breath, we do so with our intention, we do so in community, not only the group that's gathered right now, but in the hundreds, the thousands of years of practitioners who have kind of laid down the tracks of having asked these questions. At each and every stage of our unfolding, we're loved, seen, understood, and touched by the sacred. And if you're willing to try that on, how does your body respond? Is that a relief or When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side and help yourself to seated. Help yourself to your sound. Namaste.